Hey, everybody, and welcome back in to the Direct Selling Accelerator podcast. My name is Sam Hind, and oh my goodness, are you in for a treat today? I have got the beautiful Sarah Strunk, who is a master couturier with Chalk Couture, joining me today to talk about her amazing journey into her business. But what I love about this beautiful individual is she has gone from a direct selling hater, if you like, and she is self-confessed here. She's going to tell you all about this journey to somebody who is literally as far up the tree as she can get in the company that she's with. And Sarah's going to talk to us about all of the amazing things that she's learned and done along the way, as well as some of the amazing tools that she uses to help manage and lead, more to the point, her team, but also to keep herself on track. I'm just going to put it out there right now that I myself got so many golden nuggets from this episode. I love listening to Sarah and I really connected with her, and I know you're going to as well. So tune on in, enjoy this episode. Definitely, as always, have that pen and paper ready because you will regret it this time if you don't, believe me. And enjoy. You're going to love Sarah. So I am so privileged to have been able to record this episode with her. Enjoy, guys. Hey, everybody, and welcome back in to the Direct Selling Accelerator podcast. I am super excited to be here. And today I'm joined by a very special guest who is joining me from the other side of the globe. Welcome on in, Sarah. I've got Sarah Strunk here with me. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm happy to be here.
Now, I'm going to tell you a really quick little bit about Sarah, but I think I'm going to let Sarah do the explaining because she's got an awesome story she's going to share with us today. Sarah is, now let me get this right, a master couturier. Did I get that right?
Yes, that's great. Yep.
With Chalk Couture. Now, Chalk Couture, if you're not familiar with them, are an amazing party plan company based in the US. They're not in Australia yet. So if you're one of our Australian listeners, right now you'll be going, oh, what is this thing? But Sarah has got an incredible story because she's got herself to literally the top ranked, like there's nothing above you, right? Like you are at the top, you're as far as you can go. But she's done this in 4 years and this blows my mind. So Sarah, can you tell us a little bit about this story? Because you haven't come in here and gone, hey, cool, I've got all this experience. I know exactly what to do. You have, you've started from scratch. So can you tell us a little bit about your role, about the company, and about how you got to where you are today?
Yeah, absolutely. So I am, what I like to say is I'm a former direct sales hater. And it was just from a lack of understanding. It honestly was just an ignorance issue. I just never took the time to pay attention. And so I really just didn't want to learn anything about the industry, probably due to some poor business practices. And so I started a business from home when my second son was born, and we couldn't afford daycare. My husband's in the military here. And so we just, I couldn't afford to go back to work, couldn't afford daycare, but I needed to be able to supplement some income for my family. So I love crafts. I loved being creative. And so I started what I say was my own business, which I thought was super cool because, it wasn't a direct sales thing. And I sold on websites like Etsy. I did local, I just reached out to my local neighborhood, posted on yard sale pages. This was 10 years ago, and really started to build up my own craft business. I eventually was able to scale that. However, it was still a very stressful thing. When you're you're the marketer, you're the photographer, you're the accountant, you're the maker, you're the tool person in the garage cutting all the things. And I was like, man, I work from home, but I'm missing my entire family because I live in the garage or my craft room. And so the holiday season, I didn't see my family. It was very stressful for me. But I continued with this dream and just kept pushing forward. Eventually, I was able to open my own storefront, which was a dream of mine. And it was a DIY studio. So I don't know if you guys have those there where you get to like go to a place and make something and come home with it? I don't know if you guys have those.
I'm sure we do. Well, we sort of do, but yes, it would be the answer. We do have them around, but I think they're a lot bigger in the US than what they are in Australia. Yes.
Right. Okay. So I did one of those. I opened that up. But I was still like, then I was even more away from my family because I was literally at a store. I don't know what I was thinking. Okay. This is just, you have your dreams and you're just trying to check the boxes.
Yes.
And so, in the meantime, right after I opened that store, I had person after person was approaching me and saying, you really need to check out this direct sales company. You really need to check out this company. And they were making stencils. Well, I was making stencils my own fancy way, not, what they had. And so eventually I listened to like the seventh person who said, you really need to look at this. And when I did, literally everything changed seemingly overnight. I was like, this is the exact product I need. And I'm going to join. I don't know if I'm going to do the direct sales, build a team thing, but I'm going to join because I need that product. And that was it for me. From there, I recruited 97 people in my first month.
Oh my goodness. That's insane.
Just by literally just telling people. I was so excited. I opened my mouth. I told everybody, I'm like, okay, never mind. You have to see this stuff because it's so cool. And as they say, the rest is history. I instantly had a team overnight. So
just for those people that are wondering, can you explain Chalk Couture? Because like I've got I should really be like getting my little thing to show everybody. You got one behind you as well.
I've got one. Yep.
Yeah, cool. So can you tell everyone what is Chalk Couture? Because I've been trying to explain it and it's kind of hard for me to explain. So.
It is. It's even hard for us because there's so many different ways. Essentially, Chalk Couture is a home decor company where you get to create your own home decor in your own colors, your own style, whatever you want. So what's behind me is a chalkboard, same as what you have over there. And the really unique thing, and this is really at the core of where we started, is that you can have one chalkboard surface. And then we sell these are transfers. If you hear me say the word transfer or stencil, that's what this is. And it's a reusable adhesive stencil. And so really you get to put this on, you put some chalk over it and you change out your artwork. Yeah. So you can change it out for the seasons, you can, and then we've just expanded from there. So we do all sorts of home decor products now, from wood signs to cutouts to gift tags and t-shirts and more. And it's wonderful and so fun. Anyone can do it.
Yeah. And this is the thing that was really cool because when I actually had the pleasure of hearing Christine Widfelt, who spoke on one of our podcasts a little while ago, and she's your CEO. And she actually spoke at the direct selling conference in Australia back in June, and she was trying to explain it. And I'm just sitting there going, this is really cool. This is something that I could do, but they're not in Australia. Why aren't they in Australia yet? So I'm assuming watch this space, but we'll have to be quiet about that. So we won't tell anybody. But what we what we will say is this is actually a relatively new company, right, Sarah? Like you guys have, you've got direct selling companies that have been around for decades, but Chalk Couture is not one that's been around for decades.
Yep, just 4 years. So that's when I started. When the company started. So yep.
So this is amazing. Now, I want to just ask you, because you have done an unbelievable job of growing your business in a very short period of time. And part of that comes from, I believe, having a real love for what you do. But there's also, I sense you're fairly well networked. You're really great at connecting with people. So I do want to ask you what you feel is that sort of the secret sauce behind growing a successful direct selling business.
Yeah. So number one, like you said, connecting and building your network, your network is your net worth. I mean, the more people that you can meet, you can connect with, you can share experiences with, though that's it. Like that's your community there. So number one is just being a professional friend maker. That's what I tell my team when they're like, I don't know what to do. I'm like, just go make friends with people. Like it's sometimes hard to coach because it's just building your network with no ulterior motive. It's just, I want to get to know this person. And so that's the first thing. And then I would say my second secret sauce has always been coaching of some sort. So I have always had a coach a coaching group before I even got into direct sales. So I'm so grateful that I learned about the coaching training industry, because if you want to rocket ship for your business to the top, you need to have a coach, a support group, a community, something like that. So I would say those two things, focusing on my network and some sort of coaching, has been it. Mm-hmm.
I 100% agree with that. And in fact, that's is something I've spoken about when we've talked about, what we've done in our own business, is always making sure you've got someone who believes in you more much of the time than you believe in yourself, but also can keep you accountable, make sure that you're staying on track and pull you back on track when you're not. I love that. So good. And professional friend maker. I'm writing that one down. That's great.
Write that down. That's all you need.
Yeah, that's all you need. Be a professional friend maker. It's a really great way of looking at networking, I think, because you hear networking and you go, ooh. But making friends, we all like to do that. Who doesn't like to do that?
Who doesn't need more friends?
Yeah, that's exactly right. So now, Sarah, one of the ways that you've obviously got to where you are is by successfully building team. And this is something that many people really struggle with, but also it is really scary concept for many people as well, because it means, in a sense, managing other people. And let's face it, it's not a natural skill for many of us. A lot of us are lone wolves. We like to do our own thing. So tell me a little bit about how you go about managing your team. And do you sometimes have challenges? What does that look like for you?
Yeah. So the leadership aspect is something that I've really grabbed hold of when it comes to the coaching and the training and everything. And I'm like, I know how to do business. I know that portion, but I don't know how to lead a team. And like I said, overnight, I had a team of people, and I'm like, now what am I supposed to do with them? So that has been an area that I have focused on whenever I've hired coaches. It's been like, how do I support my team? Or reading books has all been, how can I support my team? And so number one, there's resources everywhere for leadership training and coaching. And so, again, I'm a learner. I'm a serial learner. So it was like, what can I pour myself into with my team? But as far as connecting with my team, I focus on the resources that are available to me from the company. Early on, I was like, I can't do this myself. I don't, how much content can I come up with? So what I really do is, number one, focus on the resources and the training that the company provides, because they know how to train. That's their job. So I lean heavily on our trainers. And then second, I always have coaching groups that I recommend to my team as well. So I'll tell them my favorite coaches, my favorite marketing people to follow. And so I really help them with that too. And then the third thing I do is I create simple systems for my team. Yeah. Systems have been the game changer for my team. So everybody who comes in, they know right off the bat, they're going to text a word and they're going to get plugged into our system. And it's going to tell them what to do, how often to do it in those first few days. And that gives me time to help develop their skills as new distributors and stuff. So, leaning heavily on the training the company has, and then setting up the systems that I need for those processes that I need to be tight. And that just gives them all the resources that they need.
Yeah. Awesome. So you were saying that you set up systems. What sort of systems do you put in place that you have created?
Yeah, so I have an onboarding system. So that's one of the first things. And so a lot of times when people join a direct sales company, what I was finding is they're getting emails from the company. They're getting emails from their upline. They're getting told to do this. They're getting told to do that. And really, what does a confused mind do? Absolutely nothing, right? They're just going to sit there and go, well, I was excited, but now I'm overwhelmed. So what I did is I was like, we have to come up with a system so that we can control the overwhelm. So we do a text messaging campaign, which is just a slow drip of text messages. It gives them the first 5 days are very simple tasks, like how to log in, how to place your first order, how to find the company page, and just connect with us. From there, we drip them some additional messages and give them some very simple scripts, some very simple, here's what to do when your box arrives. So really, I find that if we can get them plugged into the onboarding system at the start and get them some fast success, our onboarding system is designed to help get them some fast success as well, because when they have that, they're like, wait a minute, this actually works. I didn't think it was going to work, but maybe it does. And that just builds excitement. And once that wheel starts turning, they're excited and they're ready to go.
I love that. That is so good. I love simplifying things right down. And in fact, you've given me a few ideas. I love the idea of setting up a very simple drip system of SMSs. And you're so right. I mean, you jump in and you join a company and it is just like, oof, this constant, and it's like, where do I go next? And one of the things I hear from people a lot, especially when they first join a company, is I don't know where to get the learning that I need. And it's not that the learning is not there. It's that there is so much noise. They don't know where to start. And it's just that feeling of, I've been told I've got this online system I need to log into to find all my training, but they're like, I don't even know what training I need because I don't know what I don't know. I don't know what I need to know. I don't know.
Yeah.
So that's fantastic. I love that. And is that something that you set up yourself, or this is something that the company now does as a whole?
I actually set that up myself. And so I've shared it with a lot of other leaders on the team to help them, because that's really the number one thing. The thing that makes Chalk Couture amazing is that we have flexibility where people can make the things behind me. They don't have to do the direct sales side of our business if they choose not to. They can actually sell that stuff on Etsy or any other, like Amazon. They can sell their finished products. And so what happens is people tend to come in and there's like all these different buckets when they're like, I could do this, but I could do that, but I could also do this. And so my job is as the leader to focus them. So when I talk to other leaders, they're like, oh, I'm so stressed. No one knows what to do. So maybe it could be something that Chalk could implement. But right now, and I use it in tandem. So I really am like, they get a message from me first and it tells them to go to the corporate training, but at least someone's telling them every day, now what do I do? So it gives them some direction.
Awesome. I love that. So tell me a little bit about what Sarah does typically in your business, because you've said that you're a mum and, you're a wife, and I'm assuming, is your husband fly in, fly out, or is he based where you are?
He's based where I am at this location. So we recently moved here 2 years ago. We're actually going to be moving this year again. And so, I have run the business with him home, with him deployed, with him in and out, with him no contact. I mean, I've done it all different ways. So I'm really great at multitasking or being able to change directions on a go. But he is home right now. And my kids are a little bit older, so it's easier. I started when they were babies.
Right. So but you have had to find a balance in, running your business, which is a big business now, to being mum, wife, family person, friend, all of the above. So what does a typical day look like? How do you prioritize your time to continue growing your business every day?
Yeah. So this is like my running joke if you ever know me as a friend. So I'm like the ADHD girl. So, and what I've done is I used to really beat myself up for being like, why can't I stick to a routine? Why do I buy all these pretty planners and I can't stay organized? And what I've learned about myself is to just accept that when a moment of creativity hits me, like I'm going to go do the thing. And so I don't hold myself to a super strict schedule, but what I try to do now, and this is something that I've been struggling with. So this is where we're at right now. We're always changing and pivoting, right?
Sounds so much like me right now. I'm like, listen, I'm listening. What's she going to say?
So right now I'm actually working on focusing on my own personal business 80% of the time, and then helping my team and supporting them 20% of the time. And what I realized is that I was spinning my wheels with my team, and I was involved in a lot of things that I thought required me, Sarah, the leader. And really, I've learned to let that go and be like, you know what? I don't need to be in this conversation and give my 2 cents. I have plenty of other leaders who are here to support the team and, do that. And so a lot of what I do in a day is in the morning, typically I get up, respond to emails, respond to messages, and sort those out. And then usually I'm in like content creation mode. Honestly, I do a lot of videos. So I do a lot of videos for my own business. I do a lot of videos to help my team and give them videos. So I do a lot of content creation during the day. I do have like options where people can schedule a call with me. I typically do not, have long calls during the day unless they're scheduled. As a leader, as a busy business owner, you have to set those, you've got to set those times. So I have a scheduling app. If people want to book a call with me, they just click a button. And that's not to make me seem like, up here and, unreachable, but it's just to help me manage my time. And so
I think that's a really powerful tool for anyone in any business of any size. And one of the things I hear a lot, which I think is really important, is to start with the end in mind. So start with the bigger picture in mind, or where you want to end up. There's no point, if you can't do things a certain way when you're little, how are you going to do it when you're big?
Yes.
So you got to kind of grow into it. And so do you use Calendly, or like what's the scheduling tool that you use?
I use one called Acuity Scheduling.
Acuity, yep.
Yeah, that's the one that I use. And so that keeps it. And in fact, what I do with one of my onboarding systems, maybe this is a tip that could help somebody, but what I do with my onboarding system is when they reach day 5, they have to have done our first section of training. So then I tell them, once you complete that training, send me a text message, and then I'll send you a link to book a call with me. Because otherwise I'm on the phone, I'm helping them walk through things that they don't need. That's not a good use of Sarah's time or their time when the training's there.
They're not ready yet.
So, right. They're not ready. And so then when I can get a phone call with them, and it's spent on working through problems and finding solutions and getting them to where they want to go. It's not, so that's usually what I do with those phone calls is those are new designers.
Yeah, powerful. So I tell you what I really love about what I just heard you say though, Sarah. You were talking about, the ADHD version of Sarah that is crazy and got so much going on. And the fact that, you buy all these pretty planners and then you're like, why can't I stay organized? And you realized that you actually have to accept that you are unique and you operate in a certain way. And I really think that's so powerful and important. And even for me, I know that's something to remember because I'm a bit like you. I love buying all the planners. I've got about 3 or 4 different planners right now that I've bought that I'm like, I'm going to use that. Like, I'm so excited to use that planner. But the thing is, I'll use it for 3 or 4 days and then I'll go back into my old habits because like you, I'm constantly looking, if I get a creative idea or something, I want to roll with that. And then you kind of feel a little bit snuffed out if you can't because it's not scheduled in your day. And your energy changes. So I think it's really powerful to remember that it's okay to love you the way that you are. And if you work a certain way, just because it's not the way someone else works, I've got to say, I admire those people who are like the planners. They're like super duper organized. I look at them, I'm like, man, I just wish I could be more like that. I often interview them in podcasts and I just sit there and go, but it doesn't matter how hard you try, you were built a particular way. And I love that. So you're speaking my language right now.
Yes. Yes. You got to work with what you got.
Looking at my beautiful planner going, I've tried to be organized this week. I scheduled my week out on Monday and it's now Wednesday and I haven't touched it since Monday.
We try, right? Like we try, but we're creatives. We have to just and there's other people who are like, I wish I was creative like you. I'm like, I wish I was organized like you. It's like, can we just, it's fine.
Funny because you go, I don't really see that in me. I just see the things I don't have that are in other people. And you don't see the things that you've got that maybe those other people are looking at going, man, I wish I was more like that.
Right.
That kind of brings me to my next question, because as a creative and as a professional friend maker, you are a bit of a Facebook Live rock star. Like I see you rock up and you just have got an energy. You're fantastic. When you show up on camera, it's like you just love being there. You're in your zone. So do you believe, first of all, I think this is a rhetorical question, by the way, but do you believe that lives are important in direct selling?
Of course. Of course.
So let's not harp on that too much. How about you give us some tips then? Because we've established it's important.
Right. So lives are literally how I started my business. It's how I kind of took off online. I grew from 0 following. There were no paid ads back then. You couldn't do anything like that. And so I'll talk about lives, but I also want to talk about something else when we talk about that. So Facebook Live started, I don't even know, it must have been 8 years. Mm-hmm. I don't know how many years it is.
It was about that timeline. 8 years ago. Yep.
Right. And so what happened with Facebook Live is that I was an early implementer of Facebook Live. Mm-hmm. I did not sit around. I did not go, oh my gosh, I'm too scared to do it. What do I do? Let me watch how everybody else does it for a few years and then I'll jump in.
Yeah.
I was an early implementer of Facebook Live. And so I just started it. And I'll tell you at the end, I think you're going to ask me one of my quotes, but I'll say it now, is that I just jumped. I just jumped into it, and I didn't worry about being perfect. I didn't worry about what people would think about me. I didn't worry about the lighting. My goodness, I used to use like lamps with the shades off, whatever. And I just did it. And so Facebook Live is a fantastic way to connect with your audience. You can show up with your makeup on, you can show up without your makeup on. They're going to love you if you're doing a great job at connecting with people. And one of my biggest goals was when I'm on Facebook Live is to get somebody to say, or really any social, but is to get someone to say the words "me too." Yeah. I'm just like that. Me too. If I have a whole section of comments that say "me too," I'm like, boom, we're winning. I know that I'm attracting the right kind of people to me, and I'm building those relationships. And so, I think Facebook Live is key. I have sort of shifted a little bit though into short form video, which we all know Instagram Reels, TikTok, and now Facebook is rolling out Reels. Even Pinterest has short video now called idea pins. And so my tip to you is, yes, Facebook Lives are important and are still like, those are going to be prioritized in the newsfeed, but take a look at what Facebook is rolling out, and all of these apps are rolling out, because when you're an early implementer of a new technology, you're going to win.
Yeah, that is so insanely powerful. There's a couple of really, I guess, key things in there that I'd like to just focus on for a second.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The early implementer thing is so powerful. And we've actually got an opportunity coming up here, because I know that you and I have been messaging backwards and forwards, because you've now got the Facebook Reels feature, which began rolling out, I'm going to say like a month, maybe 2 months ago, like very, very new. In Australia, we're yet to see it. There may be some people now that have got it, but certainly it's not widely spread yet. So one of the things I will say is that I'm guessing that right about the time that this podcast episode comes out, it's probably going to be rolled out just a little heavier, but it's still going to be an opportunity for early implementation. So if you're sitting here going, look at that, Reels have come to Facebook, I'm going to wait a little while, that just seems a little bit confusing. Do you know what? You can't break it, and you can't really go wrong. And at the end of the day, it's better to get in and play, even without learning and training, because you're going to learn as you go. The thing about early implementation is that whenever you use a new tool from a social media platform, they will prioritize you because they want to encourage people to use those new tools. So I love that. I think that's such an important point. So thank you for bringing that up. And I think it's really timely. The other thing that you mentioned was the "me too" comment. I want to come back to that, because one of the things that we were actually speaking to our accelerators about today was the importance of establishing commonality in your relationship. It helps establish trust. And so what you've just, I guess, tapped into there is the importance of having something in common with your viewers. So you're talking about how now you get to that stage where people go, yeah, me too, me too, me too. And even in this podcast, I'm like, Sarah, me too, the planner, that's me right there. But how do you get to that point? Because there has to be an understanding of your customer before you can get the me too. So what do you do to get from nowhere to there?
I feel like I just shared my life. Yeah. And I would just wait and see what resonated, what stuck, what didn't. And so it was like, do I need, how can I find those pain points where people are at? And how can I, honestly, it's hard to answer because I just show up as me and authentic. I think about I tend to focus my content around 5 pillars. And so that is like wife and mom, that is crafter creative, that's business owner, that's military spouse, that's hot mess, ADHD, train wreck. Like, we're all a hot mess trying to figure out our life together. And so really I'm just focusing on those 5 things. And so I think that if you just, what do you love? What are you passionate about? What makes you smile? What gets you out of bed? Speak about those things and you will attract your tribe. Don't try to be someone that you're not, don't try.
You're speaking my language. Me too. I get it.
Me too.
So good. So just because I know, but just for our listeners, why is hearing me too important?
It builds trust. Like you were saying, when somebody is like, oh, she's just like me. you're likely to trust them. You're thinking she's in my head. She knows what I'm thinking. And so really it builds that trust factor. And that is just huge. People are going to shop with a small business because they trust them. So that when you say, you guys, you need to buy this product, you need to buy these nails, you need to try this eyeshadow, people are going to be like, she's just like me. She's in my head. I trust her. Whatever she says, I'm going to do. And so, that's where I think that comes into play.
Yep. Love it so much. So you've talked about the live aspect, but live is not the only part of social media that you use in your business. So how do you use social media as a whole, and what advice would you give to somebody who's feeling a little bit stuck in their social media journey at the moment?
Yeah. So what I would say to those who are stuck in their social media is, number one, reduce the overwhelm. One thing that I see a lot of people do is they get on social media and they're like, oh, I have to be on Facebook and I have to be on Instagram. And now Sarah told me about TikTok and what the heck are these reels and what a Pinterest. And what people do is that they try to do everything. Yeah. And when you try to be a master of all, you actually, in fact, become a master at none. So you are just, you're just going to keep spinning your wheels. So what I tell people is, where are you comfortable? And even breaking that down further. So where are you comfortable? If you love Facebook, where are you comfortable on Facebook right now? Is that the business page, or does that completely stress you out? If that stresses you out, then stay on your personal page for a little bit. You can still grow your business and attract people to you and build those relationships from a personal page. I'll have girls that come in and they're like, I need a page, I need a group, I need my business page and my personal. And now there's stories and reels. What? So really just, it's reducing the overwhelm. Social media is so noisy right now that, if you're finding yourself overwhelmed, just back it down to one thing. Just be really good. When I have people overwhelmed, go to your personal page and I just want you to make one post a day. One post a day. And we stick to the 3 E's, which are, I want you to either entertain, empower, or educate someone. And that's it. And then you can build from there, but back it down. Slow down, sister.
That's so super powerful. And I love that because and so much of this is stuff that I'm sure people have heard us talking about again and again and again. And I love that whenever we pull in a leader, someone who is doing amazing things in direct selling, you'll notice that they all repeat similar things. And that is, you don't have to be great at it all. In fact, I'm going to assume here, Sarah, that you started with the basics. And you mastered the basics first, rather than like now playing with Pinterest and Reels and TikTok and doing all this stuff. But I'm guessing that's not where you started.
Right. I just literally started on Facebook, you guys. I didn't even start with a business page. I just went into neighborhood groups and was like, here's a picture. Does someone want to buy this? Like that's how I started. So I wouldn't recommend that. But, that's where I started. And I will tell you, I will be honest, I don't love Instagram, you guys. It's been 10 years. I do not connect with Instagram. Now I'm really trying because I'm good. Facebook, good. TikTok, good. Pinterest, fine. And so now just 10 years later, I'm like, all right, let me get in, let me learn some content. But I'm a top leader and I don't have every social media figured out. How can you when they change the rules all the time, you guys? Right?
Yep. Totally get it. Awesome. Love that so much. Yeah. Now, I also noticed, because of course, prior to doing this episode, I jumped in and did a little bit of digging and research and learning about Sarah. And I noticed that on your Facebook, you actually have got your own little permanent lead magnet that you are utilizing. So do you want to, for those that don't know what I'm talking about, do you want to tell us a little bit about that and how that works for you? Because I thought that was really cool. I was like, this is my woman. She's just speaking my language here. I love this.
Yeah. So just for those that may not know, a lead magnet is an exchange of typically a digital good for you want them to do something. So whether that is you want to get their email address, you want them to join your group, you want them to, text a phone number and opt into your text messaging system, something. And so what I have on my personal page is a lead magnet. And what it says is something about Facebook Live. Do you want to get my free guide, 5-step guide to rocking Facebook Live. Here's what that does. Number one, it builds credibility, right? Because people are like, whoa, she's like got a whole thing going here. Like she looks kind of legit, right? That's one of the reasons that I have that. So it's to build credibility. Number two, I'm attracting the right kind of person, because only a specific person who wants to go live, who understands how to leverage Facebook Live, is going to click on that. And that type of person is the exact person I want to attract. I want to attract a business person who may already have a business, and how I know that my product can help their business, because that's the exact way I joined my company. So that's what my lead magnet is. I will tell you, ADHD, I'm in the process of revamping that, because I think, Sam, you signed up, but you probably didn't get another email from me, because for right now, for Sarah, I'm tweaking my nurture sequence. And the nurture sequence is those little emails that come in after you collect an email address. Yeah. So that's in process. But look, lesson right there is that I don't have it all figured out, right? I don't have the nurture sequence. I don't do anything with the emails once you send them. I'm going to be totally honest. I'm collecting emails. I'm just collecting emails right now. They're my rainy day fund for my emails. But as a business owner, I recognize the importance of an email list, right? And number two, I know exactly that audience is going to want my content, because they've raised their hand and said, I want to be able to get this. Yeah. And the content is just it's a little PDF I created in Canva. It's not complicated. And that's all that is.
Yeah, super powerful. I love that. So, Sarah, tell me a little bit about what you do to look after yourself while you are building a business and being a mum and being a wife and being all of the things. What do you do for Sarah?
Number one, I set boundaries, I think, for myself. Number one, I set boundaries. And so I think that is a form of self-care, you guys, and understanding that the word no is a complete sentence, and that you do not have to be everything to everyone. So part of my self-care is knowing I can say no to that. I can say no to that, and I cannot have to be everything to everybody. And then, gosh, I don't know. I don't know what else I do for me. What else do I do?
So I know that for one of the things that tends to come up a lot, and I know that definitely for me, this is a big deal, is that feeling of, as we all know, you can't fill from an empty cup. And so sometimes we have to stop and go within and figure out what is it that we enjoy doing, and how do we prioritize those things? Because I feel that there's a lot of guilt, particularly for women in business and mums especially. I think when you become a mum, that changes even more, that there tends to be this guilt around doing things for myself. And I know, Sarah, that you, even just as you were talking before and you were saying, I just had to recognize that I don't operate that way. But, are there any things that you do where you're like, I take total joy from doing that, and I'm going to unashamedly do it. Like it's okay for me to spend time doing something for me every so often.
Yeah, I think that's okay. That helps me put it in perspective a little. You know what? One thing that I do that I try, that I go, you know what, I'm not going to feel guilty, is sometimes with Chalk, we are a creative company and we create for a living, right? So you would think, oh man, that's so fun. She just does crafts all day. And it is. But also when I'm doing my crafts, I'm always like, okay, I should have a camera. I should be recording this. I should have my lighting, and I should do all this. And sometimes we just get in production mode. And so I really do, when I get to a state of burnout where I'm like, I don't want to do anything, I will turn off the cameras. I won't do anything. I will just create for me. I'll decorate my house. I'll redo something and make it beautiful. And I think that brings me peace. That brings me calm. I'm working with my hands. I've always been a creative person. I've been crafty since my first crayon. I've got little pictures from my mom of me sitting at a desk coloring when I was like 4 and 5. And so it really does feed my soul. And so I think when I get to those points, it's just go make something, dude, I will take a car ride and just sing at the top of my lungs, just silly, just anything creative.
I feel like we're just the same person here with this stuff. I love it. And I think sometimes, particularly if you found a business that's in a space that you're really passionate about, we can very easily turn something we're passionate about into being something that we resent in some ways because we lose the joy in it. And actually we did, there's an episode that will be released around Christmas time, so not very far away now, probably before this episode comes out, where I spoke a little bit about feeding your soul, which is what you've just said there, and understanding what are some of the things that soothe you and not feeling guilty about doing those. And I love that because I think there is a great danger in particularly with craft. And I know there are others that do various different things in direct selling where it started out being a love, but because you didn't take that time, it's become like, I guess, a drain in many ways.
Yeah.
So I reckon that's really powerful. Now, what are 3 top tips you would give to someone right now who's trying to grow their direct selling business? Maybe they're at the beginning, they've only just started, maybe they're thinking of starting, or maybe they've got a direct selling business, but it's kind of gone stagnant. And they're like, right, I need to, kick things back into gear. What are 3 tips you would give to somebody?
Yeah, I've got those. So number 1 is that I would say these are all going to rhyme and be super cheesy, but this is what I do.
No, it's good. Rhyme's good.
Learners are earners. So learn something new about your business. If you're burnt out, if you're like, oh, I'm posting on social and it's not working, go learn about email marketing. Go learn about short form video. Go learn about copywriting and how to improve your skills. Mm-hmm. So anytime I'm like, oh, this isn't working, I get it. Like I'm the course addict, right? I'm going to buy all the courses. I'm going to get all the trainings. I'm going to get all the books. But it really is true that learners are earners. And so really I would pour yourself into learning a new skill set. You will never regret investing in yourself because that will just pay you tenfold. Yeah. Another tip that I have is conversations before commissions. And so what that just means is that just talk to more people. When I have team members who are like, I'm struggling, my first question is, how many people are you talking to?
Yeah.
Just, how many people are you talking to? How many people have you reached out to? And this is not cold messaging, you guys. This is not cold messaging. Hi, stranger, you want to buy my stuff. This is just, hey, Susie, I was thinking about you and I wanted to check on you. How is your family? Yeah. Just have conversations with people with no intent to sell or hope that it's going to turn into a sell if I ask her about her baby. No, just talk to people. Yeah. So that would be my number 2. And then my number 3 tip is service before sales, which is how can you show up and serve your audience? What can you do to improve their quality of life? What can you do to improve their experience when they jump on social media? Over the last 2 years, social media has become such a drag, I think, for some people. And so if we can create a space that is uplifting, that is encouraging, that is helpful, where they're getting entertained and educated and just know that they're going to jump on there and that somebody's going to care about them, somebody's going to speak to them that day. I think that if you focus on serving people instead of how can I sell to someone today, that's gonna take you farther down the road than anything else. Yeah,
I love that. Really great. And so we've got some fun questions here, Sarah. Now, the very first one is, what is your favorite book for us to add to our Accelerator book list?
So my favorite book is like the standard network marketing Bible. It's Go Pro by Eric Worre.
Yep.
I always recommend that book to everybody and I always will. It's just a fantastic read to anybody who's in the industry if they want to become a professional. I think so many people dip their toe in the water of direct sales and network marketing and they just go, I'm just going to try it and see if it works. And that's why you see those high, failure rates, which I don't think they're truly failure rates, but that's why people like me who didn't like direct sales, I had a bad understanding of the industry and why were so many people failing the industry. And it's, they didn't have the tools they needed. And they lacked the belief. And so what I love about the book GoPro is that it really does build your belief and it helps you make that commitment that you can be a professional, represent yourself as a professional in this business and treat your business like a business and you will go so far. So that's my book recommendation.
So good. And if you could have a superpower, what would it be? And why?
My superpower would be to teleport so that I could be on a beach anytime I wanted. I just want to blink my eyes and be on a beach just for a few hours. Then I'll come back to work. It'll be great. But just give me some water and I'm good.
That's a good one. I like it. I reckon I'd probably do the same. And your favorite quote, I know you said you already mentioned it.
Yeah. So I literally don't know who this is by. I've kind of coined it as my own, but I would love to find the original person and give them credit. But my favorite quote is just jump and build your parachute on the way down.
Oh, good. I love that. Awesome. And last question, Sarah, if you could go back in time and say one thing to your past self, what would that be?
It would be to not worry about what other people were going to think about me. It would be to just live my life authentically, to just show up and be who I was supposed to be and not worry. I think a lot of people are too worried. Oh my gosh, I'm doing direct sales. They're going to think they're going to think I'm salesy. Okay, well, you're literally selling something. Oh, I have doggies. I'm so sorry. Of course, we almost made it.
We nearly made it. Look, we were having a laugh about this last week because I should actually do an episode of all of the different interruptions. We've had naked husbands, we've had postmen at the door, we've had babies, we've had children coming in for conversations, many dogs. Many.
Oh, good. Okay. So I'm not alone.
Oh,
that's good. Be yourself, you guys, barking dogs and all. You will be fine. Your audience will love you.
It's the world we live in right now, right?
Right.
I just had Greg banging and carrying on in the background. and he knows.
Good. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. I love it. Oh, look, Sarah, thank you so much for taking the time out of your very busy schedule to speak to us today. I know that for you, like us here, it's like middle of the day, and for you, it's late at night. And so I really appreciate you taking this time. And do you know, I've just sat here and I've been taking all these notes because I don't, I'm going to hope that our listeners got heaps out of this, but I don't really care if they didn't, because I got heaps out of this. So thank you.
I'm so glad.
Yeah, no, it's been such a pleasure hearing from you, and what an awesome story. And you should be so super proud. So well done on your achievements. And I can't wait to see where you go next.
I'm excited.
What do you do?
The sky is the limit.
Just keep going.
Sky's the limit. I'm hoping that they have to change the comp plan for us. That would be great. I would love that.
Tell them add some more rungs up there, because I need to go further.
Exactly.
So good.
Thanks so much.
It's such a pleasure. Thank you so much, Sarah. And thanks to all of our listeners for tuning in again this week. We look forward to seeing you all again next week. God bless, take care, and bye for now. Thank you for joining us in this episode of the Direct Selling Accelerator podcast. If you love listening and you found that this was helpful for your direct selling business, please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can also check out the recommended video that's popped up on your screen right here. I look forward to seeing you again next time. Bye for now.